got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I will get the camel and eventually go across the screen. Happy hump day, everyone. Super excited to have everybody in SayThat Nation. We're excited to have you with us today on another Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Jeannie. And for those of you who are normally with us, you will notice that I am missing my co-host. He is currently working on getting his way in as he's dealing with some technical issues, but you know how that goes. We always shift our crowns and move forward. I'm sure he'll be joining us shortly. And so if you are new to our channel, welcome. We are super excited to have you on. Here at SayThat channel, we are unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up that occurs in business. So you know the deal. We love to hear the stories about how people go from nothing to having massive success. But what happens in the middle? What happens during that ugly come up? Well, that's what we're unapologetic and talking about. We want to help fellow entrepreneurs understand what they need to circumvent, what are the things they need to look out for, what's the mindset they need to have. We're here to give you all of that juice. And so today is unlike any other day in terms of our timing. You guys remember that we have 25 minutes to answer the question of the day or the topic of the day. And today is not going to be any different. We have our topic, but more importantly is that we will not be answering, I at this moment won't be answering this question alone. We have an amazing guest with us. And so I can't wait for you guys to hear from him. But in the meantime, I will do the drum roll and I will bring up the question. So here it goes. Today's question is, excuse me, that is not correct. Today's question is anyone still listening to the radio, right? What's going on out there? You guys remember those days when we couldn't wait to listen to the radio? This is a huge platform for lots of people to listen to what people have to say, and certainly entertainment and music. And so with all the different content platforms out there, the real question is, who's still listening to the radio? And is this a great place for you to be? So that way you can get your information out there. And so we have an amazing guest with us today who's going to talk all about that, including his own entrepreneurship journey. He is a father. He is an amazing manager. He is a motivator. He's certainly been an inspiration and a mentor to many people, whether it's through his life coaching or just listening to him on his radio station. I am super excited to bring with us today Don P, the motivator, to the show. And here is his intro.
Our next guest.
Hey, there he is.
Wow. Thank you for that great introduction. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. Janelle, Winston, how you doing today?
What's going on, guys? Sorry I'm late.
No problem. We're doing great. And Zoran, Winston, this is why we co-host. I've had so many times where I've had technical difficulties, so I've got your back. Don't worry.
Thank you.
And we're super excited to have you with us, Don. Please tell everybody who hasn't heard from you before, who is dying to know more about you. Tell everybody a little bit more about your story, how you started, and why you decided to get into radio and entrepreneurship there.
Well, I'm a certified life coach. I've been coaching for about 7-8 years now. I've coached groups. I've done one-on-one. I've done not-for-profit. And then in addition to that, I had this love and passion for radio since I was a child. So early on, I would cassette tape radio shows all day, every day. And then as I got older, I got into the transportation industry. But in addition to that, I still dabbled in radio. And then through my career in transportation, at the end of my career in transportation, because I was always told by my parents, get the good job, do the 20-year job, then you can retire. So that's how I was brought up. So that's what I followed. That's the template that I follow, because that's what I was taught from my parents.
You are not alone.
After doing that 20-year job, then I started saying, toward the end, I was like, I think I'm gonna go move more onto the entrepreneurial side, and with my love for helping people and my love for radio, I could combine the two together and come up with a template or a brand, they call it, and just make things happen, make a difference in the world somehow by just helping people, music, helping people in radio. And then that's where it all came together. And then I just it just basically evolved from there, because it's like I really didn't have a template, but I knew where I wanted to take it in the toward the end of my career. I knew I wanted to be successful. So what I started doing was, if I didn't really have personal mentors, so I said, what can I find mentors almost immediately? And immediately I went to YouTube University. Where else, you know? And I found people like Bob Proctor, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Dr. Jessica Connor, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it just took off from there. I learned a lot from them, and then I just applied those principles in my life, and then it just evolved from there.
That's amazing. And I know that I can certainly relate. I'm sure many others who are listening can relate to that. Going to YouTube University and coming across people like Dr. Joe Dispenza or even Jim Rohn or Les Brown, right? Like in those first stages, and you hear these individuals speaking, and it's almost like water in a desert. You're like, where have these people been who speak life into people this way? Like I wish I would have known about these people before.
Absolutely. And actually, they speak life basically into me. They got where I was looking for motivation and inspiration, and then there's a difference between the two, because motivation is like, you kind of getting going, but inspiration, I guess they call it inspiration because it's coming from inside. Motivation is kind of like on the external, like on the outside, but inspiration is coming from the inside. So if you're inspired, you're going to be motivated. So that's key. Becoming inspired, doing something that inspires you, doing something that really gets you going. It's going to get you motivated.
That's so interesting. I've never heard anyone describe the difference between inspiration and motivation, and the fact that like inspiration is more of an internal component, and so with the inspiration you will have the motivation. That makes a lot of sense. So is that why you decided to call yourself, Don P, the motivator instead of the inspirator?
Well, motivator sounded a little better. That was one thing. It had a nice ring to it. And when I was coming up with what I would say a quote unquote name for myself or branding myself, motivator stood out to me. So when I would tell friends and family members, this is what I'm going to call myself, or this is what I'm going to brand myself, they said, yes, that's perfect. That's perfect, because you do inspire and you do motivate. Yes. And it's almost like I fell into it, because it's like something that I've been doing for a long time, and a lot of times I didn't even realize I was doing it. It was just almost like natural for me. So it was pretty easy for me to combine the two. And when I say combine the two, I'm talking about the life coaching aspect of it, and then the radio aspect of it, where I would include music. And then, of course, I will have to look for inspirational tunes. I can't play sad songs and inspire. So I would have to look for inspirational things to kind of add to the momentum or the theme to help everyone get on board in propelling themselves, or even just having the mindset to do that, to spring forward, to come out of, to achieve, to have the vision, see the light at the end of the tunnel. So just thinking about the concept and developing that concept and developing that idea, and then because internalizing it is one thing, but then trying to put it in words and trying to put it in terms and trying to put it in music, and it's a whole combination of things that goes along with it in the show creation and then the dialogue creation. So first, when I first started the show, I was like, what will I talk about? What if I run out of topics? It was like all these things were coming up. What if I can't get a guest? I mean, all these kind of stumbling blocks, because it's new for me, it's new territory. So therefore, according to the great inspirers, or the greats like Les Brown and Dr. Joe Dispenza, that new territory is an opportunity to create, where you reach into your creative cortex, your creative side, and say, since it's new territory, now I have to get creative. I'm no longer using old information. Now everything that I'm coming up with, everything that's being done is now new territory or a new creation. It's not a recreation or rehash. Very interesting. And it's allowed me to shift in a certain kind of, shift my mindset into more a solution, into a more solution-based thinking mindset, instead of focusing on the problem. Now I'm focusing on the solution, which is great.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So there's a lot there. There's a lot that you said that I want to touch on. One, I was just thinking like, okay, how did you decide? Okay, so why radio? Like, what's going on with radio? I know that you loved it as a child, and so you grew up with it, and you were like, man, it would be amazing to have my own radio station. But why? Like, why now? Why today? Two, you touched on the fact that you've been a life coach now for over 7 or 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. And so, like, why was it important to you to have a part of that in your radio, like in your show, right, in your broadcast? And then the other part that you just said about looking for solutions and not for problems, that's like a whole other thing. So start with, okay, what's going on with radio? Why is radio still important? And then, yeah, let's start there.
Radio, I mean, has been a passion of mine. It's like ever since, I don't know if you know about the boombox era, but ever since, I'm giving away my age. But okay, yes, that's great. The boombox era, it was a cassette tape back then. Before that, it was like reel to reel. Or Winston might remember a DAT, when you would go to the recording studio and they would give you a digital audio tape. It's like that, like that size, like a 2-inch digital audio recording. Before, and then how they went from analog to digital. So from those days, from the cassette era days, I would record those radio shows. I'm talking about Mr. Magic, Marley Marl, Awesome 2, Hank Love, DNA. And I was recording like when Chuck Chill Out was on Kiss, when Kiss was in New York City. So when Kiss and Marley Marl was on BLS, Kevy Kev was on BLS, because I come from a background of hip hop and R&B radio. So I would listen to all the DJs that are on radio. So because you have your nightclub DJs, then you have your radio DJs, and some DJs play nightclubs and they played radio. But of course, radio's a lot different because you have to play clean music on radio. You can't play the stuff that you play in the nightclubs on radio. So because coming me coming from a Christian background, the quote unquote clean aspect of it, I could incorporate into my matrix, because then it would allow me to open up to a particular market, being a family market, being a community-based market. And then then my market's wider when I'm doing things that are on the quote unquote cleaner platforms. So that's what made me choose that and choose radio at the same time, because I've always loved it since I was a child. Now, the second part, what was the second part again? You asked
So
about
why was it important to you to combine your life coaching and helping people in that way, in a like positive way, with what you do on the radio? Why was it important for you to combine those two?
It's always been in me to help people. I guess that's why my industry, my career in transportation, because like I was explaining before, the listeners may not know that, but I had a career in transportation, and my focus was helping people basically find their destinations and helping them any way they needed to get where they needed to go. So my whole career is based on helping people. So so I can easily move into an arena or a field where I'm helping people as far as life coaching goes. So while I was in my career in transportation, I started studying life coaching. And I may have started like 2011. I may have started studying life coaching. Then what I did, I started getting formal classes back in like 2014. I started taking formal classes in coaching. But from, I'd say 2010, 2011, I started studying a whole lot and dedicating a lot of my time toward educating myself as far as being a life coach and helping people's lives improve. So that's how I brought the two together, radio and the life coaching aspects.
Right. So you formally got educated. You started having clients in like for life coaching, and you're starting to have what I can only imagine is gaining fulfillment by helping other people in that way. And for anybody who's never listened to your show, like, how would you describe then what happens during your show?
If anyone has never listened to my show, I would advise them to either they can go to my Facebook, Instagram, or my Facebook and Instagram. There's a link there where they could click and listen to one of my shows, as I posted a few of my shows there, so they can listen to one of my shows. But to describe my show is, if I were to put it in words, I would say, if a person is feeling like they're in a space where they just need a little push, or they're in a space where they need a big push, I would advise them to definitely tune into one of my shows, because not only will you get educated and coached, and you may learn something, you'll get some good music too, and you'll get some good DJing as well. If you enjoy music, and if you enjoy hip hop, R&B, and getting some good word, you would definitely enjoy my show.
Sounds like it would be up many people's alley. All those people who love hip hop, R&B, and to your point, need to hear something good, something positive, something to get them going wherever they are in life. If this is providing a lot of value for you, please drop a V in the comments. I am definitely learning a lot in terms of what inspires Don, the motivator. Did you have any questions? I don't want to.
No, I actually did. Why not another platform? I understand the motivation behind what you do, but in terms of, and then I guess more toward the question, is anyone listening to the radio? I'm assuming you're still going out to do work for getting sponsors and things like that. Why not just do it on another streaming platform?
Actually, I'm open. I'm glad you asked that question, Winston. Thank you for that. Actually, we're looking at different platforms. I mean, we have 905 FM, if anyone doesn't know. It's www.905fm.net. And
Okay.
it's and we have a small station in Brooklyn with a small antenna. So we do have a small listening. Actually, it's in Long Island City. So we have a small antenna in Long Island City. We have a small listenership to people that are in that area. I think it's about 2-3 mile radius. Plus, we have the online radio station, which is the 905fm.net.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worldwide. That's global. Actually, I'd like to thank my producer and executive producer and board member, Dr. B, and also DJ Scooning the Beat, because they have been so instrumental in helping me with my successes on 905 FM. So 905 FM. Thank you for putting that up. 905fm.net is global.
Okay.
And the thing that's the great thing about 905 FM is that you could go anywhere. I mean, you can go North Carolina, South Carolina, you could go across seas, and you'll still be able to tune into our shows, which is great. So anyone who wants like any types of ad material and they're looking to market or looking to target different audiences, especially audience that listen to our format, hip hop, R&B, and we also play some reggae too. It would be a great place to begin to market. And we're also at the beginning stages of accepting more advertisers as we speak.
Oh, very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, because to me, the part you mentioned about not just clean music, but inspiring songs. I was literally walking the other day and thinking, I want to create a playlist of just uplifting songs, but to sit there and do all the work of it. So that would be cool. That's exciting.
Exactly.
Just found a place to get it.
No.
Exactly. 905fm.net, the Basis Radio Show.
Well, Jeannie,
Thursdays from 6 to 8.
Shout out to Jeannie who put a couple of V's in the chat for value, and Nadia. So lots of value people are getting from you.
Thank
today.
you.
I'm really excited about that. So I'm glad Winston did ask about why that particular platform, to answer that question. Have there been other people who have asked you that question as well? Do you feel like you get asked that a lot?
Yes, they ask why online radio, and when you do the studies and you do the research, a lot of radio are moving online. Like a lot of people like to listen to their podcasts, they like to listen to their shows. And if you look at even the movie industry, I mean, look at Netflix. I mean,
yeah.
Their whole industry is online, and they're, they have a substantial whole Amazon. I mean, the whole industry is internet based. So our future matrix is going to look like an online platform. That's where we're moving to. And we want to listen to our shows regularly. We could be in, West Africa, we could be anywhere, but we still want to listen to things that we enjoy listening to and things that are meaningful to us. Meaningful in a way that we become attached to. Even though we're traveling abroad and having fun, we still would want to tune in to our favorite news, our favorite shows, and things that really represent who we are.
See, that's the part that I'm actually very interested in, because one of the things, and then I guess for anyone who's on here and we think of like advertising and where do you plant your flag when it comes to your business and how you maybe market or advertise for it. And one of the things that I know Janelle and I, in going more about this whole YouTube journey, is understanding different platforms. I mean, literally platforms I have never even heard of that people have shows on. But we wanted to, and maybe just because you've been doing this a lot longer now and you have a broader scope, where do you see a lot of, if you're talking to someone on here that wants to get into any type of, we've had somebody on who has a podcast, but any type of broadcasting or maybe inspiring others, where would you say they should start now if they were getting into this? Would you still advise them to go get on the radio and start a show there? Or
I would tell them to do exactly what you're doing. What Janelle, Winston, what you guys are doing right now is a magnificent platform to help spread the news about online platforms. Just YouTube in itself. I mean, look at, YouTube is such a great platform for everyone to share and to connect. And like you did for me, and I'll share this, how you could just get a link to, basically anyone, and they can tune in and watch. And that's the same exact platform that we're using for 905 FM. Because I could share that link with you. You could share it with anyone, and you can listen to my show Eastern Standard Time. As long you could catch my show live, Eastern Standard Time, 905fm.net, Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Just like I could catch you on Wednesdays. Tomorrow you could catch my show.
No, I love it.
Well, Brittany is also
okay.
Oh no, I was just going to say Brittany is also like applauding what you're doing in terms of paying attention to what's new, what's trending, and what is working, and where your audience is and what they need. That's awesome. So
thank you, Brittany.
Yeah, Nadia says love it. So as we're winding down, because I know I'm looking, we only got like a minute or so left. What I would love to talk about is that other thing that you mentioned, like you started to focus on solving the problems instead of the problems themselves. How did that come about? And was there ever a time where you started to notice, like, man, I keep staring at the problems. Why can't I find solutions? Like, I'd love to know how that evolved. Was it because of your life coaching that you started, the training and life coaching that you started to notice that? And what are you telling others in order to help them gain the same type of mindset?
Janelle, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was an uphill battle for me, because it's like, it's so important to know where you are. And where you're going.
That's the timer.
It's gonna be a good time.
That's the bell.
This is gonna be a good answer.
Always set a goal. Always set a goal. That's what I could, to wrap it up quickly. You have to set a goal and make sure you are pursuing that goal at all times, and not thinking about the problem, because the problem will send you in circles and you won't realize that you're running rings and running circles unless you have a goal in place and it's kept there.
I'm only cutting you off because if people really want the answer, they got to go to overtime.
They got to go to overtime. Hey.
They got to go to overtime. That's what the real juice
Winston.
is.
Yeah, I'll see you guys there.
Janelle, Winston, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And look, guys, Don is a real person. You can find him on Instagram at Don_P_the_motivator. You can reach out to him. You can message him. He will message you back. He's also on Facebook, so you can find him there as well. And of course, you already know, in order to hear his set, right? You can find him at You can find him at www.905fm.net.
FM.net.
Sorry, there were a lot of people who were like giving shout outs and saying how great today's show is. So thank you so much for coming on with us today. Those of you who want to join us in overtime so you can hear the rest of the answer to his question, it is in the description box below. Just click on Patreon so that way you can become a community member of ours. We're going to jump over there right now so we can get right back into it. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us today. And we're going to wrap up by saying, as always,
Remember,
you deserve a good life.
Love it. Bye, guys.
Say that.